Alright y'all, back out here on a carpet cleaning job. About to throw down a pre-vacuum in this room real quick before we do our pre-spray. Let y'all see me do a little pre-vacuum in here. Vacuum came unplugged. Hit it with my foot. Y'all don't need to watch me do a pre-vacuum on the whole thing. You can see we got the carpet lines going on. Catch up with y'all when I do the pre-spray. Pre-vacuum is done. You can see we got a bunch of crap out of there. Yeah, not bad. Alright, so the client stated there used to be a dog that lived here, and I am seeing some things that do indicate that and solidify that statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a UV flashlight, and I've got some TMF Unchained mix-up. We're going to go ahead and take care of those pet stains. If there is pet urine in the carpet, it'll illuminate under the UV light. Not seeing any over here. But we're keeping an eye out, doing a thorough inspection. Yeah, there's a spot right here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's illuminating. So, just gonna go ahead and throw some TMF Unchained on it. Then we're gonna go ahead and kick it in real good. Work it in there. What TMF Unchained is it's enzymes, and it's also an oxygenator. So it really helps with pulling the pet stains out. Good stuff. All I use is TMF truck mount forums. Rob Allen has a chemist that does some really good mixes on his chemicals. Not seeing any more pet stains over here that are illuminating. a little bit right here of illumination. I do this before I do a main pre-spray on it. There's a little bathroom entryway over here. This is the master bedroom, so you won't be able to see me, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Got some right here on this little doorway here. And some right here on this doorway. Alright, that's it for in this room. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up my actual pre-spray, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a pre-spray on this room. And then I don't have a CRB yet, so I'm going to use the Poor Man CRB, which is just a scrub brush on the end of a painter's pole. Y'all see it, I'll catch back up with you. Alright y'all, mixing up some pre-spray right now. Hot water. We're using the Agricas, or however you pronounce that, the AG 2006. It's a 2.5 gallon electric sprayer instead of running a pump sprayer. Makes life a little bit easier, a little quicker too. Pour some hot water in there. It's about half full. And then what we're gonna do is gonna run about 8 ounces of TMF Black Label. Stuff smells great. It's Sweet Breeze scent. 2, 4, 6, 8. And again, that's TMF Black Label Sweet Breeze scent. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some TMF Unchained. You can use it as a booster, and it really, really helps. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this measuring cup, and we're going to pour about 16 ounces of Unchained in there as a booster. Now, if you're just using this primarily for pet stains, you would run 32 ounces of this for every 1 gallon of water that you're using. But we're using 2.5 gallons of hot water, so 8 ounces of Unchained and 16 ounces of Unchained, 8 ounces of Black Label. And it goes. Give this measuring cup a good little rinse real quick. Cool. And then we'll fill it the rest of the way with the hot water. Good enough. Do a little bit of wind because we're going to shake it real good for a minute. Nope, that's alright. We'll clean up that splash. No big deal. No big deal. I'm gonna grab some rags and be right back. Alright y'all, we're back, looking at the master bedroom. Electric backpack spray, but you know, I don't really like running the backpack straps on it. But I got it turned out. We're just gonna go ahead and hit it with some pre-spray now. I'm gonna block your view for a minute. I gotta get behind the door. I'm gonna get it over here by the bathroom over here in this little area. You won't see me. So this thing is variable pressure with this knob right here, and I usually do run it on lower pressure. But being that there's no furniture in this room, I just turned the switch on and ran max pressure. But when I'm around furniture, I turn it way down low so I can just creep right along the furniture. But again, there's no furniture in this room, so I just went wide open max pressure with it. All right, we're gonna let this dwell for a couple minutes, and then you will see the Poor Man CRB I talked about earlier, which is just a scrub brush on the end of a painter's pole. Alright, well, this is the Poor Man CRB, just a scrub brush on the end of a painter's pole. It's a good little workout, but you know, hey, it works. You don't have to kill yourself doing it either. You just kind of take your time, but try to be a little quick. Just pace yourself. Now just that alone is already making the carpet look better. I like to go crosshatch too on it. What this is doing is it's helping to agitate the pre-spray into the carpet, but it's also helping to lift the carpet fibers up and get it ready for hot water extraction cleaning. I use this painter pole, it telescopes to 16 feet. I like it because it's more heavy duty and it's a little bit longer and I'm tall, standing in at 6'3", so my choice of painter pole. But now we're going to set up the machine. Alright, so today we're using the TMI B107 Bravo 107. It's a portable extractor. It's small, but don't mistake it. This thing's got a lot of power for carpet cleaning. Go ahead and unroll the power cord and get it plugged into a GFCI outlet right here in this bathroom where you see me mixing the pre-spray. Today we're going to run 40 feet of hose, 1.5 inch, 40 feet. Let me go ahead and move the camera angle. Alright, now you can see me a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take hose 1, which is 25 feet, or no, I'm sorry, not hose 1, we're going to use the red one, which is 15 feet, hose 1. I like to run this one first at the machine and then put my 25 footer on. And I connect them with a 1.5 inch hose bar. So that's that hose. Here's our 25-foot solution line. Alright, you guys aren't going to be able to see me for a minute. I'm going to connect these hoses in the master bedroom. Alright, and then we're going to take our 15-foot solution line, lay it out, and then we're going to connect it to the solution line output of the machine, like so, and we're going to run it into the master bedroom, and then we'll connect the 25-foot solution line. Following the same path as the vacuum hose. Alright, that's machine setup. Other than this one last hose, don't usually do this, but for the sake of today, because it does make the machine quieter and the client is home, we're going to run the exhaust hose off the exhaust port of the machine, and we're going to run it out the bathroom window where you see me mixing the pre-spray. Alright, so it's connected to the exhaust port of the machine. I'm going to go ahead and mix up my acid rinse and hot water solution, which is 2 ounces of TMF acid rinse, Rob's Secret Formula. You're going to see me fill up the machine now. I'm going to be pouring the water in this opening right here, which is our solution tank. This front one, that's our waste tank. Scalding hot water and acid rinse going in. It's okay if we splash a little on the carpet right here because we're cleaning this carpet too. Now probably later on I'm going to have to adjust everything. I'm going to fill up the bucket and get some more hot water, so I'm going to cut that part out. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all before I turn the machine on because you won't be able to hear me. Something that I like to do that I don't see a lot of others doing is I like to take my upholstery attachment and I like to go around all the edges of the room first before I grab the wand and actually start cleaning the carpet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to get the machine fired up and clean the edges with the upholstery attachment. My upholstery attachment leaks just a little bit, so I like to just put it in a bucket. You're going to see me spray this in the end of the hose. This is hot tub defoamer mixed with a little bit of hot water. It keeps the carpet and the solutions from foaming up in the hose and in the waste tank because the foam in the tank will kill the suction. So I'm going to use a couple squirts of this in the hose first. Time to grab the wand and go for it. Alright, y'all. Time to do a wastewater dump, see what we got. I mean, these carpets really aren't too soiled, but, you know. Not too bad. The client does like to regularly have the carpets cleaned, so they're really not that filthy. And you see the angle of the bucket here. I can't fill it up completely. I gotta do a couple. That's fine. We're gonna be cleaning this area anyways. I tell you, that defoamer, hot tub defoamer I use, really helps. And yeah, I have two separate buckets, one for fresh, one for waste. I'm gonna grab the fresh water bucket and refill the machine and keep going. So there is some closets in there, as you can see, my reflection. I don't know if you can see it, you can see my leg in the mirror reflection there. The client requested that I clean the carpets in the closet too, so I'm gonna grab the stair wand and do that because those closets are really tight. This is the stair wand that I was talking about, little baby stair wand. You always set the wand on the handle like that with the opening of the wand facing up so that you're not just instantly sucking down to the carpet when you turn the machine on. Go ahead and throw some defoamer in that hose real quick too. I use 10 sprays. I don't know if you can hear me. sterile one made that way easier. I'm just gonna grab this regular one and finish out that little area. I only do the rinse pass on the back stroke. I don't do it on the forward stroke. Well, especially because these carpets aren't that soiled, it's not that bad. They don't need the forward and back rinse pass. I can just do it on the back stroke. Dry passes, people, dry passes. I like to personally go a little slower on my dry passes just to really pull up as much water as possible. The name of the game is to leave the carpet as dry as possible when you're done. We don't need the 40-foot of hose anymore. I mean, we're going to shut it down and take off that extra 15 feet and just go back to 25 feet because the next room we have to do is way smaller than this one. And then we're going to do the little landing right here and down the stairs. I'm going to finish cleaning out of this room and we'll call it done, man. Alright, y'all. Master bedroom's done. Got the windows open and the ceiling fan on to help it dry. I'm going to take you guys to the next room. Don't mind the bumpiness, I got to carry the tripod. We're going to clean the next room, which is way smaller. Sorry about that. You can see this is the next room, really small. So we're gonna get it knocked out. It's already pre-vacuumed. I'm gonna pre-spray it and then agitate it with the Poor Man CRB, which is that scrub brush on the wand. And then we'll knock it out. Y'all don't need to watch that. You already seen it in the master bedroom. All right, y'all, small bedroom is done. Now we just gotta do the landing and the stairs and we'll be done. That'll be a wrap. Catch back up with y'all later. All right, y'all, that's it, we're done. Stairs are done, landing's done. I'm gonna wrap up, we're out of here. That's it. Have a good one.